It will allow you to discover new combinations of colors or shapes that you had not thought. For the first step, I'm gonna use a large split cake with an half moon sponge. You can choose a gradient of your choice, but try to limit yourself at 3 colors maximum. Here I'm trying to show you the base that I'm using for all my makeup. It's called the Fibonacci spiral. It's a sacred geometric pattern that symbolizes growth, evolution, balance, and divine order. You can find it everywhere in nature. For the first step, use light colors. Extend the makeup all the way to the hair root and alternate the direction of your sponge on each section. This will give a depth and contrast effect. Do not make the base too wet, otherwise you will have trouble drawing straight lines in the next steps. Avoid getting too close to the nose or mouth area. In this example, I'm making the jawline, but if you don't have enough time, you can just skip this part. For the second steps, I'm using a 3/4 flat brush, but with an angle in it. I will use it with a small split cake. You can choose the color that you want, but I recommend that your split cake start with a dark color, at least. I suggest that you vary the brush strokes for a more eclectic result. First of all, I'm gonna contour the eye just a little bit to accentuate this part. If you don't load enough your brush, it will be very difficult to do a pretty line, just like this. I had to pass with my brush a second time because the line was not very precise. Do not hesitate to make very wide lines to quickly fill the empty spaces. At this point, just be careful not to overcharge the brush to prevent the colors from flowing and mixing together. So now it's time to having fun. Just play with your lines and the shapes and just follow all the shapes that you did with your sponge before. Your movement have to be assured and big. One of the things that I like about the angle brush is that you can really do fast and thin line with the point of the brush. I encourage you to make some repetitions in ascending or descending order. You can cross the line. Just be careful not to overload the makeup with tiny lines. Keep in mind that it should be beautiful from a certain distance. Okay, now we are at the steps that you use a metallic color. I do not recommend to paint over areas that are too light because metallic color stands out better on dark one. You will have better result if you put your metallic color over like a black or dark blue, dark purple, this kind of color. So now I'm just making almost the same as the step before. I'm making repetitions. I'm filling the gaps that I don't like. I'm trying not to overload the makeup. Keep in mind that we still have to see what you did with the sponge before on the first step. Now I'm going to use my round brush. Normally I'm gonna take like a 6 or a 4 for the size, and I'm gonna use a plain color, white or maybe a teal or something light. You can use that part to do some dots, some teardrops, some fine lines. You should also make a reminder of the shape that you're using on minimum 2 areas for a balanced makeup. If you want and have enough time, you can do some extra ideas like lipstick or cream-based glitter. You can also airbrush some texture with stencils. But you have to be careful and just keep in mind that makeup design should breathe. Now I'm finishing my makeup with some dark color. Sometimes it's very easy to do too much, so it's important to know when it's time to stop the design. If you have noticed, all my designs have the same steps. I'm always starting with the sponge, the bigger tools, and I'm downsizing to 3/4 flat brush. I'm switching with a filbert brush for my metallic colors, and finally I'm using my round brush to do the lining or the dots and some details. And my last advice would be just relax and have fun. Nobody's perfect, and the key is to practice, and practice over again. I am somebody who are super perfectionist, and I had to learn to let go. Sometimes I have a little bit of difficulty to do that. I hope all of you appreciated my class today. It's my first time as an instructor online. I will be honest, it was not easy for me to go out of my comfort zone. And of course, as you have surely noticed, English is not my first language. It really was a big challenge for me during this journey. But I'm very proud of myself and the improvement I did on myself. And now for the end of the makeup, I'm just adding a little bit of glitter. It's a base cream glitter that I like to apply with this tool. It's like a silicone brush, and it's really easy to apply the glitter with that. As you know, it's not a secret, kids really love glitters. I'm sorry, it's not the final touch. I decided after that to put some dots over the black lines. When I told you earlier, sometimes that I cannot stop, you have the perfect example here. I don't know how to stop. But I promise you, this is real this time. It's the last step, and the makeup is done, and you have Amy with her beautiful abstract makeup.